Hello, people of America. I'm your host, and today I will be showing you something that I've gotten, I would say, quite adequate at, and that is Gen 8 Monotype in Pokemon Showdown. I wanted to show kind of my thought process and how I personally, as someone who is one of the plebs, I'm one of the plebs, and I want to share what I think of when I'm, just playing a random game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show off the team, describe what each of the roles are for. I'll go into a few replays I have, and then afterwards, I'll play some games, and you could see it in practice. Hopefully, maybe it won't work. I'm just gonna do it first take. You'll see the first reaction to that. Anyways, I'm running Monotype Ground, which Monotype Ground is very powerful. Not because of the ground types, but because it has a lot of good mons and good abilities. Cough, cough, arena trap. Cough, cough, all these abilities. And I would say, I'm not an expert. I haven't played many types. I've played pretty much exclusively Mono Ground. But let's get into the matchups in a minute, okay? Matchups in a minute. Ground, I would say, is very offensive orientated because this kind of plays into the matchups. Ground is like a defensive typing isn't very good. It's weak to ice, it's weak to grass is kind of a minor one, but it's weak to water especially. Ice and water are super common. You can't hit flying types. Those are all huge weaknesses defensively. So you're not going to want to be sitting around all day, in my opinion, as a ground type. You're going to want to be going in, you're going to be hitting hard, and then you're going to want to die because you can't switch out into anything and have it live. The team member that shows that the most, that demonstrates that, is Mamoswine. And Mamoswine is really, I think, what carries the ground type from what I've played. I would say if you run a Gen 8 Monotype team without Mamoswine, you're doing it wrong. Because let's open up a little list here, okay? Let's go to Monotype. Let's look at our ground types. We'll look at something here. We're not having an ice type. This is just Mamoswine. Part 2. Electric Boogaloo. The only ice type that ground types have is Mamoswine. And ice is a very good offensive type. Especially, and it helps. Here's the thing. If you remember the weaknesses that I stated before, right? The ground type is weak to ice, flying, and grass was the minor one. A strong ice type just completely dominates those matchups. So if we look at, even if we look at like Ice Beam as a coverage move on ground types, where is it? Ice Beam. You're getting like Nidoking, Swampert, like really low attacks compared to Mamoswine's 130. That Gastrodon, like these aren't going to be your things that are going to go out there and like they want to sit around. Not Nidoking, but Nidoking isn't exactly. We'll go back to that because Nidoking's on this team and he plays a role that I don't see very often. But really, you're very limited on the ice moves. And ice moves are very powerful because ice moves are going to be the only way, let's be honest, you're going to win flying type matchups. Because let's look at flying types, okay? I'm already jumping into the matchups, okay? But like, just to make my point, right? When you look at all the flying types available, they're almost all weak to ice or they're part steel. It's like super weak to ice, super weak to ice. Like neutral against ice, weak to ice, weak to ice, weak to ice, weak to weak. Neutral. And then like Gyarados and Pelipper aren't exactly going to be taking, ice beams or icicle crashes from like anything, or even ice shards. Because a lot of the times they're run very offensively. And obviously the ground types match up well against steel types. So if you're able to, little spoiler, if you're able to ground the flying type, hit their flying steel with a ground move, and then hit the rest with an ice move, you win that matchup. And that's a really unfavorable matchup that you can just swing in your favor. And then the same with grass types are a really hard matchup because obviously they resist everything you do. 90% of the time they have grassy terrain, which reduces earthquake by 50%, which is like an insane debuff because everything you use is going to be using earthquake because it's such a good move. Let's look at grass real quick. These are the two hardest, well, not flying. I think grass is the hardest matchup for ground in my experience, my limited experience. But if you look at what's resisting ice, you got Ferrothorn, you got Pharaoh's Seed. You don't got anything. You don't have anything to resist ice, except for an ice. Oh, sorry, a grass steel type, a Ludicolo. Again, those aren't Abomasnow. You run a fire move as well. You run one fire move. You need it on one mon, and then that really helps against your grass type matchup, I think. Although, let's be fair, you're probably not winning it anyways because you're not winning it. You can't win with Mammothine alone in a grass matchup, most likely. And then, because yeah, I would say flying and grass are your most unfavorable, especially if you don't build into them. I think flying isn't actually super unfavorable if you build against it. If you build against flying, it can be actually super easy because a lot of flying teams aren't able to fight against strong ice types, basically. I would say favorable matchups, definitely fire. If you look at fire, earthquake, 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 earthquake. It's Moltres. You earthquake it or rock move it. Knock off, put up some rocks and he's dead. This doesn't get earthquaked, but good luck winning with just Moltres and Rotom Heat. Everything gets earthquake. I don't think there is there a single resist? You got Centiskorch is a neutral. You got Talonflame and Moltres that are immune. Obviously, you're not gonna have a resist because it's part fire. I don't know what I was saying, but yeah, basically, fire is, and you see this a lot on fire. Well, I've seen it a lot on fire teams where like the Heatran run balloon, which isn't super weird or anything, but it's like fire teams just basically almost always like auto lose to ground. So I would say that's probably your best matchup is fire. Or I know that's weird to say because I just thought of electric, right? But like electric has more tools. If you look at electric type Pokemon, a lot of them do get like there's a lot of flying types in there, or I guess a decent amount. You got some grass types. You know, you got a lot of levitate mons. A lot of them have like good coverage moves, which I would argue that fire types don't really have a good coverage spread into. You got a Gavancho, which is neutral as well. You got a lot of wiggle room here. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. It's definitely going to be hard because as the electric type, it's going to be hard because you're not going to be able to hit the ground types at all. I would say that's probably your second favorable matchup. Who cares about the order? But both of those are very, very favorable. You're pretty much guaranteed to win those unless they've specifically designed their team to go against ground types. Here's the thing I wanted to show. Grass Knot. Look how many, like, Tapu Koko and Zeraora can win you the game, like, by themselves. Because they are very powerful. Very powerful. Circuitry as well. You get a Scarf Circuitry or a Nasty Plot Thundurus, and like that can win you the game. So, but if you look at like fire, they're probably not gonna have Grass Knot, but they're gonna have like Solar Beam and stuff. Darmanitan gets Grass Knot. That's weird. Oh yeah, because of the Zen mode. Yep. But if you look at fire types, you get like Solar Beam, obviously, but you're not running on Blacephalon or Heatran or Victini, or You can run it on Volcanion, I guess. You're not running it. You give a Giga Drain on Volcarona. Volcarona's pretty good in the ground, I'd say. As at 4 fire types, it's okay. Volcarona can just win any matchup basically, because this is getting on a too big a tangent. Let's skip that. Let's stay away from that. What was it? Oh yeah. None of these Pokemon really are going to be running like Solar Beam, and then you got like what, Giga Drain, Heat More. Yeah, you want to run Heat More. Like, what other grass moves are there that like they get? And the Giga Drain isn't even like that good. It's like what, 80 base power and like 8 PP. You're not killing every ground type with 1 Giga Drain unless you're boosted to like high heavens, you know? So I think that's why Fire has a worse matchup. Even with Volcanion is super slow as one of like the few water. I think it's the only water fire. And like it can't take a hit from any earthquake really. And then yeah, basically for Fire, all your bulky answers are just destroyed, and then all your offensive answers are destroyed. For electric types, all your bulky answers are destroyed, yeah. But your offensive presence can still exist. I would say a more neutral matchup is like Ghost. Ghost can be really hard. Dragon. Dragon could be pretty hard, but like depends on what they have or how they use it. I think Dragon's actually pretty favorable for ground, or for my team that I have that has a lot of ice moves. You'll see that. That's an upcoming special. Ghost can be pretty hard because you don't really have a lot of. I don't think there is a dark type, dark ground. I don't think there is, or it's not in Gen 8. Don't think so. Oh, it's Crocodile. Yeah, Crocodile. I don't run Crocodile, so I don't know much about that. I don't think it's gonna be winning you the matchup though, because if you look at Ghost, I mean, it's pretty good into it. Actually, yeah, it's pretty good. I think they usually run Mimikyu though, but you could Earthquake that. The problem is that you just run it once you get killed on Crocodile. It's really hard. I wouldn't say it's impossible. I wouldn't say it's even like super duper hard. I just say it's unfavorable. And then I'd say Dragon is favorable for ground types, because you got a lot of flying types in Dragons, obviously, but an Ice Beam or like any ice move, even from something that's like not stab on like a 4 times effective, is gonna kill. And so many Dragon types are weak to ice, like 4 times. It's incredible. Like you run a couple ice moves and like you win against Dragon. Not that simple, obviously, because you got to play around okay. Yeah, so if you look at this, you got like none of these are super good. A lot of ground types are either slow and like strong or bulky, which is bad for a ground type, because like they don't have the resistances, and they have a lot of common weaknesses. Like, whew, we'll get to water, okay? Water is like a crazy bad matchup. It's almost as bad as grass. Now, either they're really bulky and slow, which is like bad, I would argue, or they're kind of like they're very fast and they're kind of weak. Obviously, you got exceptions like obviously Excadrill. Nidoking is very strong, but he's slow. Actually, stats aren't even really that good. It's all because of sheer force, let's be honest. Garchomp and Landers are... Maybe I should take that back a little. I should roll that back a tiny bit, okay? They got a good mix. It's just they're not very good defensively, which we'll get into in the team. Let's get to the team, actually. Let's get back to that, because that was a big tangent. Basically, ground, good versus electric and fire. Bad versus water, grass, what's the other one I said? Whatever the other one I said was. I probably said ice. Yeah. And so, when building a monotype team, obviously you can only use one type. So a big thing is they're all going to share the weakness of being a ground type. Being a ground type isn't a weakness, but they all share the weaknesses that being a ground type inherently holds. So keeping in mind the weakness of ground types, I say you just give up on some of them. You can't cover all of them. Mamoswine is really, really, really what carries you in the bad matchups, and that's why I think it's necessary to have on a mono ground team. Because Mamoswine is massive attack and actually has ice moves to support that attack stat. And then Ice Shard is actually incredible. You're probably going to be using that more than Icicle Crash because he's not very fast. It still does a ton of damage. And it like, I can't underestimate enough how much it helps in like the flying matchup especially. So what Mamoswine is on the team for is to cover those weak matchups. It's what makes Dragon so much easier. It's what makes flying almost free. It's what makes grass even like slightly doable. Even then it's like grass is like give up on grass, okay? And then even when you're not using his ice moves, he's still got an extremely powerful earthquake. Superpower completely destroys like dark type teams. Because nothing on a dark type team is taking a superpower from Mamoswine. Except for like maybe Mandibuzz. But even then, like, you got ice moves, okay? You got ice moves. So Mamoswine is really just like the backbone of what allows the other team members to exist, essentially. It really supports the weaknesses that ground teams have, which is obviously the types that I mentioned just before. I won't repeat it. Don't want to get in like a loop. Obviously, one of the things Mamoswine does not cover is water types. And that's a really big issue. There's two options here. You either give up on the water type matchup, or you run Seismitoad or Gastrodon. Let's be honest here. And you can't run an offensive set either. You have to run a defensive set. Because if you run into a water type team, they're going to have obviously offensive mons on it. And it doesn't matter if your Seismitoad is the best Seismitoad in the world, right? If they have a Barraskewda and like a Kingdra and even just like a Specs Pelipper, your Seismitoad isn't gonna last. So you need to give up on the water matchup, let's be honest. I made a separate version of the team. I don't know if I like it as much. Seismitoad does have some other purposes. Mainly, he lets your team not be destroyed completely by an Urshifu. Which otherwise that is completely like, you see an Urshifu on a fighting or water type team. Or, sorry, Urshifu water specifically. Urshifu dark is a different story. Because that is allowed in Monotype. But you run into an Urshifu water without a Seismitoad or a Gastrodon, you've lost. Forfeit the match on the spot, basically. It's really hard. It's really, you're not going to do it. You could try. I wish you the best of luck. So, Seismitoad helps cover the water matchup, and that's about it. That's pretty much it. I think in a lot of the games that you might see, I don't really remember the replays too well. Seismitoad just ends up being a sack, or he gets like a toxic off and then kind of sits there. Other games though, he's like the first and last line of defense. He's the only thing stopping you from losing to water. So it's a really hit or miss on whether or not you even want to have him on your team, first of all, because like, should you plan for those bad matchups, like where you're pretty much like destined to lose, or should you just really go all in on the good matchups that you have? And I would say if you want to go in on the good matchups, you can go like Zygarde or something. Just go whatever else. It doesn't really matter. Most things are better than like Seismitoad or Gastrodon. So that's the water matchup kind of covered, and then you got obviously the flying and dark matchups covered by Mamoswine. The thing is about Monotype is you don't want to put too many rolls on one mon, because if you say, okay, I got Mamoswine, oh, it's got ice, ground, fighting coverage. Okay, so it's going to be covering my flying types, my grass types, my fire types, my dark types. You don't want to do that, because if that's not going to be able to handle all of those rolls. So that's why you want to kind of spread it out. And speaking of, that's a good segue. That is what Nidoking is for. The problem is a lot of the time in the matchups is Mamoswine will be able to kill, like, you know, at least, like, 4 Mons. But then, like, it can't kill the rest. And then you need someone else to clean up what's left behind. And that's why I am running Choice Scarf, Max Speed, Nidoking. Also because this team it's pretty slow. Spoiler alert. And you need something that's fast, otherwise you're going to lose. And that applies to all tiers. And so, like, he has... It's really troublesome because the Fairy matchup is quite tough as well without Sludge Wave Nidoking. But you can't really... You need Earth Power for, like, most things. Like, you need Earth Power because it's a strong stab, obviously. It's either Earth Power or Sludge Wave, because Flamethrower you need for, like, the steals. And then, like, Thunderbolt you need for, like, the flyings. And the waters. The waters is a big one as well. That also helps cover it a little. Ice Beam is just for other ground types. A little bit of grass types. Flamethrower, fire types do help with grass a lot. That takes a lot of the heat off of Mamoswine. So he's just kind of like the cleanup. He's the cleanup crew. And Choice Scarf really helps with that because a lot of people don't expect it. Obviously they think, oh, it's just Life Orb. Because that's probably what most people run. I actually think Scarf is better because most of the time Nidoking isn't going to be outspeeding things in his like regular non-Choice Scarf variation. And then he's just going to die. He is just going to die. So this way he is doing less damage, but you know, it's really helpful against like Dragapult, especially because like nothing on this team can outspeed that. It can help against Weavile if they don't expect it and they go for like a triple axle. And because an Ice Shard from full won't kill unless I think they're banded. And usually they're not banded. Maybe even if they're Life Orb, maybe it's a roll. Either way, it's very helpful against very fast Pokemon. So that's his role. Dugtrio is extremely important to the team, although sometimes he seems kind of useless. So in your flying matchups, in your ghost matchups, Ghost especially, Ghost is really, really tough. Because, fun fact, Arena Trap does not work on ghost types. So if you run to a ghost type team, you're kind of screwed. Now, one thing I was questioning was like, a lot of the times I saw on the ladder that I would use Gravity, it's a little bit of a spoiler, on like a Skarmory. And then obviously Landorus would die. I would switch into Dugtrio, and then they wouldn't switch out. And that's the Flying Steel type, obviously. That's very useful against... That's basically what's stopping me from just spamming ice moves. So I don't know if that just... People didn't realize that, and I was pretty up on the ladder. I was like mid-ladder. I was like 1500s. Or I was thinking that maybe if you use Gravity, Arena Trap still traps them. I wasn't sure about that. I haven't looked that up. I don't even know if that's like a thing. So someone tell me about that maybe. I don't know. But when you can use Arena Trap, he is like... he's Arena Trap the Mon. Okay, let's be honest. Focus Sash is also very useful because usually he can't live a single hit, and Reversal is like the second most important thing in his arsenal, aside from Arena Trap. So obviously you get the strong Earthquake, even though he doesn't have a terribly impressive attack stat, only 299, because you have to run max speed. He is very fast, obviously, and Earthquake still hits quite hard. Stonehenge is like, you use it for Volcarona. You use it when you can't hit them because they're a flying type. But you'd still rather use Earthquake if you could. That's kind of it. You don't really have a reason to use Stonehenge over your other moves. You use Stonehenge if like your Reversal isn't at full power. Reversal you use if you're at 1 HP and they're a Dark type or an Ice type or anything that's weak to fighting because it's stronger than Stab Earthquake. Really, really, really good. It's base 200 power at 1 HP. Which is what the Focus Sash is for, is to get you to 1 HP. Sucker Punch is very useful for if you're fighting a Scarf user, a Scarf Blacephalon, a Scarf Dragapult. Usually very fast Pokemon that have Scarfs that Nidoking just can't handle. It's also, well, I guess those are both Ghost types. They're not forced to stay in, but it forces them to switch out, which is really good, or die, and a lot of times they just choose to die. I guess that's what they choose. It's very good against, obviously, like, rock types. It's your very bog standard, like, click Earthquake, unless, like, it's very obvious that you don't click Earthquake. So he's just, like, the standard, like, he cleans up rock types, he cleans up you know, electric types. He cleans up, like, everything that ground you would expect to clean up. It's a very reliable Mon, especially because he's so fast. Right, and then where would we be without 50% usage? Mr. 50% himself. I think it's even, isn't it like 70 or something insane? Mr. 70% OU usage. Landorus. The classic. So I know you're looking at this set and you're thinking, what is he thinking? Substitute bulk up, earthquake, gravity, rocky helmet, and the EV spread? What is that? What is going on there? Listen, okay, I took the EV spread off of the default thing. I think I took one out of special defense and put it in speed, so I can outspeed other copycats. Speed creep a little, you know? But like you can't hit flying types unless you gravity, which is like a big issue for this set, obviously. But Landorus is just, obviously everybody knows him. Everybody loves or hates him or doesn't know about him, but they do know about him because he's like 70% usage. He's really good. Obviously, intimidate, high defense, good special defense, good HP. He can take pretty much any hit. Basically, if it's not ice type, he can take almost any hit one time, which is what Rocky Helmet is for. It's for him to take the one hit that one time from Urshifu, because Urshifu, especially Scarf, really destroys this team. Because if you look at Scarf, Urshifu Water, Ice Shard's doing nothing, right? Scarf, Urshifu obviously outspeeds Nidoking. Seismitoad's actually a pretty good answer to that, but obviously you don't want him to handle the whole water team alone. Because what you're going to have happen if Seismitoad is your only Urshifu answer is they're just going to switch into Urshifu. You're going to switch into Seismitoad. They're going to, you know, close combat or whatever. Even Surging Strikes because they don't care about your water absorb. And then they're just going to switch out to, like, you know, Pelipper or whatever. And then, you know, Hurricane and you take like 30% damage. You switch out again. Maybe you take Rock's Chip. Boom, you're getting worn down and worn down and worn down. The big thing is about Landorus with the Rocky Helmet is it helps take out those really, like, those mons that you really need chip on. Like Weavile is another mon that you super need chip on, and it has triple axle, which I think you get 3 hits off with that. Because again, Landorus is super bulky. He's very good. So like yeah, and then obviously once you get like 40% from the Rocky Helmet on like a Weavile or a Urshifu, that's when you send in like Nidoking or Sucker Punch plus Ice Shard, or you send in the Rhydon, the Don. What Landorus does is really help against like Steel matchups, because those are actually, it's kind of even actually because of how this team is built. There's not a lot of super strong, fast Earthquakes. Like if you had Excadrill on against a Steel team, you'd be pretty well off, you know, because Steel types have pretty high defense. That's like the one matchup that you're probably not going to be one-hit KOing everything with just normal Earthquake. So Landorus can really help by using like Gravity and like grounding like Corviknight and like Celesteela and those mons that are often run for support on like flying teams. Yeah, just flying teams because they're both flying Steel, yeah, and Steel teams. That can really help you like prevent, because if you look at the other mons, right, it's just like Celesteela like comes in, or Corviknight comes in, it leech sheets, it protects, it roosts, it stays on you all day. You click Gravity, that's not happening. They're fearing for their lives. So if you play Gravity smart, it can really work out in your favor. Big problem is it lasts like 3 turns after you switch out, and then Bulk Up is you never use it. Substitute you do use sometimes. You substitute when you don't want to get statused. If you don't want to get Will-O-Wisp, you don't want to get Leech Seeded. You use Bulk Up to kind of like pressure them to switch out, but you never really want to use Bulk Up. It's just kind of like because obviously you use Substitute, you take 25%. You're not recovering anything because you have Rocky Helmet. It's too much chip. Bulk Up usually isn't worth it, but sometimes it is. It's like, okay. It's not really a better move. I mean, there probably is, but it's fine. And then you got the Premier. You got the Solo. You got the Don. And the Don is really, really what like pulls the team together. He's the heart and soul of the team. And that's because, unlike Landorus, I'm not joking about this. He can take pretty much any hit. As long as it's not special and a grass or water type move, he will live. And even then, sometimes he still does live. Because you look at his defense stat, 339 plus like the 25% or 33% or whatever, the 1.5% times. That's like 500, 600 defense. It's insane. So he can live like anything. He doesn't have recovery. His abilities all suck. He doesn't get any recoil moves. He doesn't get any recoil moves, and he's already immune to electric. He doesn't care about special attack raises either. It's a ground type team. Why would he care about electric attacks? But he's also got a massive attack stat, so he's not just sitting there doing nothing. Like a lot of other defensive things do. Like I think Hippowdon is often run as like a defensive wall in ground type teams. I don't really like that. Mainly because pure ground types, like pure types in monotype like teams aren't super great, I feel. Also, like Hippowdon doesn't have like a super he's kind of passive, which I don't like either. Again, I think ground types should be offensive. Otherwise, you're just going to kind of get smacked around by your many weaknesses, like water grass, again, flying. You're just going to get kind of like smacked around. Why Rhydon over Rhyperior? Why Rhydon over Rhyperior? Because he's inferior. Oh, you get it? Because like yeah, he's inferior. He's just bad. You do get solid rock when you upgrade, when you get the new model. Doesn't really matter. He's still gonna die to the 4x water moves. It just is when you upgrade to Rhyperior, he's slightly stronger, not even enough to like really matter. And then he's like slightly less bulky because of a Violet. Obviously, if you can't be knocked off and get weaker, but you're not getting knocked off that much anyways. Because if a Pokemon's running knockoff, it's probably running other coverage that it's going to want to hit you with. Like, obviously, a Weavile is not going to want to use knockoff against you very often. It's going to want to use, like, Triple Axle or Ice Shard or whatever, because that hits pretty much everything on the team, like, better. Even when the Violet's knocked off, though, still a 400 defense stat. So it's not anything to sneeze at. Stealth Rock can be really useful in certain matchups. Certain matchups, it's obviously useless. I tried running Swords Dance for a little bit. The problem is it's really easy to like avoid that Rhydon hitting you. If you switch into a flying type, he can't really do anything, right? Because I guess I could give him a rock move, but rock move doesn't fit. You need Earthquake, obviously, for the strong Earthquake stab. Everything has to have a ground move stab on this, just because Earthquake is really, really good. Earth Power is still okay because of sheer force. Obviously, it's just really strong because he's a million attack stat. Oh, I mixed up the attack and defense earlier, but same thing. You need Fire Punch for Ferrothorn, and like Ferrothorn pretty much alone. It's useful against like Scissor occasionally if you see that. But you do need it because Ferrothorn is very, very threatening to this team. Because you need a fire move to kill Ferrothorn as a ground type team. The only fire type moves I have on here are the Flamethrower from Nidoking and the Fire Punch from Rhydon. Rhydon, these nuts. There you go, snuck a these nuts joke in there. So yeah, you're going to want one of those two, and obviously Nidoking is probably better for that. If you're into a grass type matchup with Ferrothorn on it, though, you probably just lose. And then if you're into a steel type matchup, Nidoking's going to be super good there. And then Avalanche, I know, a bit of a weird move. That's the strongest physical ice stab, though. I guess you could run Ice Punch, Ice Fang, rather, or Ice Punch for, like, 15 extra base power. But this, obviously, Avalanche doubles in power to 120 if you get hit first, and you're pretty much always living in attack. So, it's pretty good. Basically, if you lead up against, like, something that's weak to ice, especially 4 times weak to ice, like another Landorus, which... If the opposing team has Landorus, they almost always lead it. Even at -1, if they Earthquake or U-turn, you're getting off an extremely powerful 120 base power move, probably super effective, maybe even quad effective Avalanche on a random mon. And that kills Landorus even at -1. It's useful against the Dragon type matchup, not that you need much help with that, but still useful to have. It's just a good tool to basically lead against Landorus and help you with the flying type thing, because otherwise I don't want my Rhydon to be walled by other ground types. That's another huge problem with this team right now, is that ground types actually match up quite well into this team. Because obviously Mamoswine destroys ground type teams. So I think it's basically whoever kills the opponent's Mamoswine wins, because Ice Shard, Earthquake because this thing's slow, Ice Shard. You get up rocks from your whatever, because every ground type has rocks. This is just Ice Sharded. Earthquake because this thing's slow. It's literally whoever gets rid of the Mamoswine first on a ground v ground matchup. And so Avalanche does help alleviate that a little, because you can deal with the other ground types, because it's not going to be as effective if you're Earthquaking versus Avalanching. I think that's basically the entire team. How long did that take? Whoa, 50 minutes. Oh, almost an hour. Woo! Okay, so that's the team. Let's move on to the replays. See if I can get through that before I have to eat another Oreo. So let's start off with something from May 28th. Wow, it is July 10th. So that was a while ago. A good matchup leak. I'm going to try to explain it as I go. I honestly do not remember, because this is 3 months ago, almost at this point. At least it feels like that. So, obviously, 1346, that's pretty low on the ladder. I mean, hey, listen, folks. I get it. I'm one of the plebs. Aside from the Monotype ladder, I'm stuck at 1300 everywhere else, okay? This is why I'm making this video, so I could show off my cool 1500 rating. Oh, you're gonna see this epic replay coming up, or I beat a really high, you're coming up. I beat a really high numbered guy on the ladder. So this is the first replay that I have. Fun thing about this, the reason why I chose this replay is because, how do I pause this? This guy had a lot of interesting thoughts about Doug Trio. Apparently people don't know it can get Arena Trap. I don't actually see Doug Trio very often in Monotype. I don't see Ground very often, to be fair, but I don't think I've ever seen Doug Trio. Maybe once or twice. I'm going to try to explain my thoughts. Hopefully it comes across as coherent, and hopefully I can edit it to make it seem coherent. To start off, you're always going to want to lead Rhydon unless you get an ice matchup. I'll explain that if I run into an ice matchup, but if you run into an ice matchup, lead Mamoswine, because ice matchups always have Ninetales, Alolan Ninetales, and it always leads with Aurora Veil, which you just can't have up. They click it, you click Earthquake, they take 50%, they switch out or let it die. Obviously them letting it die is better. That's the pattern. You just, Aurora Veil is super, super rough for this team, because there's no defog, there's not even any spinners. Any hazards are staying up. That's fine, because, a defogger is just, it's too hard to fit. You could put it on the Landorus instead of bulk up. Well, it's not good enough. It's your team's not going to be living long enough to make use of the defog anyways, so why would you use it? And either way, in Monotype, spikes and toxic spikes are pretty rare. And then obviously stealth rocks are just exclusive to certain teams. Fire types basically get Torkoal as their rocker, and that's it. So especially when you see a fire type matchup, just lead Rhydon. Because what are they gonna do, right? They lead Volcanion, and you switch out to Seismitoad. They lead Cinderace, you click Earthquake or Rocks. They lead Cephalon, you click Earthquake or Rocks. They lead Torkoal, you press Earthquake or Rocks. Victini, Earthquake or Rocks. Rotom Heat, you click rocks, and then you switch out to Landorus or something else. So I don't remember if that's what I did. That is probably what I did. I want to go in really slow because I'm maybe just normal slow. I'll pause it. So yep, he leads a Rotom. I'm probably gonna rocks here, or I think I might switch out, but oh no, he switches out to Torkoal. Let's see what I do here. Yep, I get up the rocks like I predicted. I think I Earthquake here because what's he gonna do to me? He's gonna either yawn, maybe at worst Eruption, but then I'm faster than Torkoal. And then his Eruption won't do anything. Maybe Solar Beam, but in that case, if he does have Solar Beam, it's super great to get Chip on him because Phyodon's already got the rocks up. That's gonna really hurt anything that doesn't have boots on here. And I'll be able to tell if it's Scarf or Boots. Blacephalon. And then he's basically Rhydon served his purpose. And it's good to get something away with a grass type move that can really hurt my team. If he does have it, and if he doesn't have it, I just kill it, obviously. So, as we see here, I Earthquake because I'm faster, obviously. He Rapid Spins, and then obviously, I clearly win this this debate, right? I decided to just go for the kill because I don't want to waste the time. And he'll probably switch out eventually, and it'll just be annoying. Plus, I don't think I really need rocks here. Solar Beam, again, I not very commonly run. I don't know if that's just because of the thing on the ladder, or maybe I'm mistaken on that. So I was pretty surprised by that, obviously. I think I might go land it. No, I go Dugtrio. Because I can Sucker Punch there, again, threaten it out with the Sucker Punch, as I mentioned earlier. I go for Earthquake because I have Sash. I'm pretty sure he'll switch out. This thing's a big threat. So, against Rotom, you really have two options, okay? First of all, Seismitoad's never going to work, especially in the sun. It's going to do nothing. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to ground it with Gravity and then Earthquake it. Or you're going to want to click Stone Edge on Dugtrio to get it like 50%. Oh my god, I forgot about this whole chat thing. Yeah, we have a whole history. I beat him with Dugtrio like 4 times. Hey, that's wrong. Dugtrio's a scary mon, okay? Dugtrio is very, very scary. Take better care of your Rotom, though. Rotom is also a very scary mon. Nice nicknames, by the way. I should nickname my mons. I don't know. It's just too. I'm not prepared for that kind of responsibility. Anyways, Rotom is very scary. So the problem is with Rotom is it can have a big like. I can't really do anything to ground either. Like Rotom, you can't do anything to it without Dugtrio or Gravity Landorus. Or some other thing I don't have on this team. The problem is you're gonna do what? You're gonna Pain Split, you're gonna Will-O-Wisp, and that's why I switched out of Dugtrio, is I didn't want to get Will-O-Wisp, lose my Sash, do 0 damage, and then not be able to be useful versus the Cinderace or the Victini or the Blacephalon again. And that would have been really bad. So that's why I switched out into Nidoking, because he doesn't care about the Will-O-Wisp. Obviously, he's a special attacker. And then I'll just threaten with a flamethrower? I don't know. To get some chip. Getting some chip is really nice because unless it's Scarf, which it could be. I don't think it usually is. But unless it's Scarf, Dugtrio does that speed and it'll do like 50, 40, 60, something around there with the Stone Edge. And that'll be really good. Because if you get the Rotom out, you just win, basically. And Fire is a really, really strong matchup for ground. So, yep, see, we do see the Will-O-Wisp come out. The Thunderbolt, yep. Oh, okay. Here's why I did Thunderbolt. It's because if I Flamethrowered, I don't want to Flamethrower into, like, the Quad Resist Volcanion. Or, do 0 damage to anything else. It probably would have been smarter to Flamethrower, but hey, it is how it is. So the Hex obviously does a huge damage. Hex is very scary, so I switch into Landorus Therian. Now here's where the sub really comes in handy again to avoid the Will-O-Wisp. See, that's not gonna break our sub. And then the sun is down. Oh my god, he's faster. Oh, Gravity. I'm so smart. So that's where the sub would have been handy if I was faster. Luckily, I probably realized that I was not faster, and then I Earthquaked. So now this guy is really scared. So I could probably just go back out to Nidoking. Yep. I click Earth Power, and literally everything dies. I think this doesn't die, actually. I was pretty sure it was going to die, but yeah, it's pretty bulky. Doesn't matter, because I can go out into Dugtrio next and just trap it and kill it. That's probably what I'll do. Yep. I trap it and kill it. Then I think he might go... Doesn't really matter what he goes. He might go Rotom. I feel like that would be a bad play, but... Yep, he goes Rotom. Because I can just Earthquake now. And then, yep, he's dead. And then I basically win at this point because what's he going to do? I just Earthquake here. I have the Sash. It doesn't matter. He even goes for Solar Beam, so nothing happens. That's... Wait. He was faster, so was that... That was Scarf Solar Beam. Okay. Creative sets. I like creative sets. Obviously kill faster than... that's a big deal as well, being faster than Cinderace. Because then they have to Sucker Punch. And as you can see, Ground is obviously a very, very easy matchup into Fire. Because they can't really do anything. They don't really have any resists, and all the resists that they do have are completely just like obliterated by Gravity Landorus. So that's a good showcase of why you don't bring Fire to a ground fight. That doesn't really make sense, but I have to stick with it now because I said it out loud. So let's move on to the next replay. So the Dragon matchup is, like I said, I think it's positive because here's the thing, right? Arena Trap is really key here. The Kyurem, especially if it's like Scarf or Specs, is super, super threatening. It could be up to 317 speed, right? Which if you look outspeed, doesn't outspeeds. Only the Dugtrio outspeeds. And what's it really going to kill with? You know, it can kill with a reversal, which is why you really need to trap the Kyurem before anything else. Like, that's pretty much like that's what you need to keep Dugtrio in the back for Kyurem. You could bring it out, but don't keep it out. The good thing, though, is Dragon types don't really have rocks. They have, obviously, Garchomp, but I'm either going to lead... when you get a Dragon type matchup, you want to lead either Mamoswine or the designated lead of the Don. You want to lead Rhydon. Usually you just want to lead Rhydon and click Avalanche into Garchomp, and then just deal with the rocks later, because obviously them being down a Mon is a huge thing. But I think it's actually better to lead... I might have led Rhydon, because that's a low ladder, making all these misplays. I think it's better to lead Mamoswine and just click Ice Shard, because that does kill from Abandoned Mamoswine. So we'll... Oh, it's loud! Oh man, I need to turn that music off. Oh my god. So yeah, I do lead Rhydon. I think it would have been better in retrospect to click the other move that doesn't kill because he did not attack me, to lead Mamoswine, because look, I got away with this with a heavy loss. I could have led Mamoswine, just click Ice Shard and get like good chip on anything. But here's the thing, he's gonna kill with this. Oh no, he doesn't kill with this. I thought he was gonna kill with that, that's why I clicked Earthquake. Then he kills with it. And I should go into Mamoswine. Yeah, because Mamoswine is stick fat. I have the rocks up because here's the thing, right? If I didn't have the rocks up, here's what I would do. I'd go into Dugtrio with my Sash intact, right? And he's not running Icicle Spear. Because why would you run Icicle Spear? I'd click Earthquake. He could sub as many times as he wants. It's not going to matter. He'd eventually have to attack because he's trapped in with Arena Trap. When he does, I'll go down to my Sash and get a 200 base power reversal, which I'll then click and kill the Kyurem. Instead, this situation is not ideal, basically, because I'm taking a lot of damage from rocks now on all my mons. None of my mons are boots. The Sash is broken. It's awful. It's pretty bad. I'm in a bad situation. I think I Icicle Crash here. By Earthquake, that's a good play. Because Icicle Crush can miss. Get Dragapult in. It is really, really, really... When you come up to a Dragon type or a Flying type matchup, it is extremely important to keep your Mamoswine. Because Ice Shard, look what Ice Shard does to this team now. They have no even neutral, because Kyurem was their only neutral. And then you got Quad Weak, dies after rocks, dies after rocks. I don't think it dies after rocks, but maybe if it's offensive it does. And then you could Earthquake that, either way you're faster. So it's really, really, really important to keep your Mamoswine, even if it's at like 13%, whatever, it's like slightly above rocks. It's just really, really, really good. So this Dragapult was special. My Landorus is gonna die here. I think I go into Dugtrio here. I said that after, so I knew it. Dugtrio dies. Not looking good, but as you see here, it doesn't look good for me, but actually it looks great for me because Mamoswine cleans up the team now. It might have looked dumb to go Landorus and then just die with my Landorus and Dugtrio and only get like half damage. But in reality, could have been offensive. I didn't know that at the time, if it was offensive or sorry, not offensive, physical or special. But in reality, what I've done is, maybe not purposefully, but what I've accidentally done is created a scenario where I pretty much win. Because Dragonite's not going to do anything, especially with my Scarf Nidoking at full in the back. And none of these other mons are going to live Ice Shard. So as you can see, I probably just Ice Shard, Ice Shard, Ice Shard, Ice Shard. It does not kill. Doesn't matter though. He probably should have saved that, but honestly, I wouldn't have thought it would have lived either. So Dragonite's gonna come in. What's it gonna do? What's it gonna do? I should have stayed in there, I think, but because then I Ice Shard and then I just obviously the extreme speed doesn't kill. So look again in retrospect, this is why I was probably low ladders because I'm making these mistakes. What I probably could have done was just Ice Shard, Ice Beam. He brings in Hydreigon. I could go do Seismitoad, Protect, get some leftovers, get a Scald or a Toxic. Because he'll either Nasty Plot or he'll be like Specs or something. Get a little bit of chips there, and then I just win with Ice Beam. Because, again, getting rocks up here is also very important in a Dragon-type matchup. So that was a big mistake on my part. But I could have won with Ice Beam. I still end up winning because he decides to... Okay, here's why I win. He decides to Dragon Dance, and then he doesn't go for Extreme Speed because he thinks he'll be faster. I'm Scarf, so I'm faster. That's why I won. Could have very, very easily lost there. And obviously, oh, we got some more text. I like it when we get text. Anti-meta. Gotta hit him with the Pog. The P-O-G. Oh, yeah. Wait. Oh, wait. Go back. Was there Hydreigon? Okay, no. I thought my eyes misled me. But yeah, now see, I win with Ice Shard now. Should just be the end. Yeah, 12%. That's what Rocks does. That's what Rocks does to a man. So Ice Shard, just showing the power. Ice Shard is very, very, very powerful against Dragon and Flying. Like, you gotta keep the banded Ice Shard. It's even fine if it's not banded, you just gotta keep the Ice Shard. I am going to pause the recording for a second. I am back for more. So in this next replay, I wanted to show something that I literally just did probably a couple hours ago. And it's to show the purpose of Seismitoad. When I said before that, like, he is either like the king or he does nothing, this is what I mean, okay? I'm gonna put this on fast because it was like a 60 turn game. So I'm not gonna super commentate it. Oh! Oh my god, it was so loud. Oh my god, I keep forgetting to do that. So obviously, get up some rocks. I evaluate that rocks will be important here because this is my designated lead and he's part rock type. I just felt like getting Rock Set because I knew this was going to be a long game with Blissey Snorlax. Snorlax is a monster of a threat because there's no haze, no roar, no nothing. So if you just, as you'll probably experience, if he curses, you just lose. Unless you have a Seismitoad. Because Seismitoad is probably the best Pokemon in the game. Look at him. Look at him all hunched over. Here, let's switch sides. Look at him all hunch. So I get the Toxic off. That's really good. There's a questionable play coming up at some point. But Snorlax comes in. Obviously, I substitute because why not? I don't know what's coming in next. I just Toxic it. He has Curse. And it's rough. It's a rough day because I can't do anything. I don't really know the Snorlax set. Well, I do now because this just happened recently. But it's Curse, Rest, Sleep Talk, and then like one other move, which is Darkest Lariat. Lariat. I don't know. It's Lariat. So yeah, this is gonna take a while. I'm just gonna switch to Landorus. I'm gonna substitute and then bulk up. I don't think I substitute actually. Maybe I do. Yeah, I just raw bulk up because I'm hoping like maybe I'll get a couple boosts and then I'll get a crit. But eventually it shows that that's not gonna happen. I just keep pounding away at him for a while until he dies. He says, "Big boy." Snorlax is very thick. Going to Mamoswine. Take a lot of damage for no reason. I do start wasting. I realize at this point I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do? Right? This Snorlax is not stoppable. I try to go for the crits once more, and I'm like, okay, the crit strat is not gonna work. So I look at I hover over the thing, and I'm like, wait a minute. 13 PP left on his only attacking move, and that's when I go into Gremlin mode. Okay. Once this Rhydon dies, I'm like, okay, it's Gremlin time. So I use the Protect, obviously. I am greedy with these Protects with the leftovers. I think I substitute. And I repeat this, I substitute, Protect, substitute, Protect, substitute, Protect, substitute, Protect. At one point, he tries to get a little uppity on me, and he goes for Curses when I go for Protects, but it doesn't end up mattering because he has 13 PP, and I have, like, 40 Protects. I don't actually have like 20 Protects, but it doesn't matter. I think I get a double at one point in here that I need. This is on hyper fast, by the way, so turn 35 already. Yep, I think I get the double here that I need. Oh no, yeah, he rests, I remember, because he would die from the Toxic. Yep. Yeah, so he has one left now. So at this point, the Snorlax is dead. I Toxic the Beware, because he obviously has to switch. I go in this and I click Flamethrower because it's double weak to fire. It still doesn't die. Did not expect it to be so bulky. I just keep protecting the Seismitoad. Go to Mamoswine on the Grass Knot, because who cares about Mamoswine? Just a revenge kill. And at this point, Toxic can beat all these guys, even Ditto, because the only attacking move on my Seismitoad is Scald. I have Water Absorb. If it's Choice locked, which is most definitely Choice Scarf, I win that. And so I don't actually, this battle never ever gets finished, but it shows the true power of Seismitoad. It shows what happens when he unlocks. I probably would have lost this eventually because they could just keep switching and I'd be stalled out because I'd run out of Toxics and Protects and stuff. But as you'll see ahead, something really fortunate happens. Something extremely fortunate. Also, Calm Mind Blissey. It's +2 or +1 still does not break the sub. He disconnects. And I win. So, that just goes to show that sometimes skill isn't all you need. Sometimes, all you need is a little bit of bad internet connection. You need your opponent to just have their, you just need to like kill their internet connection. That is not a call to action in any way, by the way. Got Got 2 more replays. Maybe I'll just skip one. Because one was National Dex. I just brought this team and I want a little cup. Not the little cup, but you know what I mean. I'm gonna pull out the thing everyone was waiting for. Cause I foreshadowed this earlier. I don't know if foreshadow is definitely not the right word, but everyone wants it. The big number guy. And obviously we got the dragon matchup. You wonder why I didn't show any grass type matchups? It's because they ended in 2 turns, okay? This guy is like, oh my god, 1792. I'm 1544 at this point. And this does show that, like, this team does work at least once, okay? Because I've never been high ladder, but I beat someone who was high. Oh! Oh my god. Turn the music off. I just remembered. Guys, I'm pretty smart about this. Anyways, this team does work. If only because of the Nidoking scarf, but it's pretty, I would say it's moderately effective at least. So obviously, get the classic lead. I think I click Avalanche here. Yep, and then I can just click Earthquake, and he'll not be able to kill me with anything. Oh no, I switched to the Landorus, I guess. Okay, here's my thought process. This guy's scary, and I'm sad. No, actually, but I think my thought process was Avalanche is still pretty strong. Stronger than Landorus's Earthquake, and I can still get rocks up, and he'll probably, like, Flash Cannon or something and, like, destroy my world. I don't really remember what happens from here. Oh, he goes to cure him. The rocks up, again, is a big downside. I should have Earthquaked there. So, again, misplay. Here's the thing that if you want to take one thing away from this video at all, there's always room to improve, okay? I'm not the best player. I'm not trying to pretend to be the best player, okay? I'm pretending to be the second best, okay? It's me and then my alt account. It's me and then, like, the creator of Showdown or whatever, whoever made that. It's me and then whoever's number 69 on the ladder, because that guy is impressive. Anyways, but there is always room to improve, and I'm seeing that very clearly when I watch my own replays now, where I can see that was a lot of damage, and I probably shouldn't have switched this in here. But see, what I was doing here was I was just literally trying to sack Seismitoad, because I hate Seismitoad. And look, I just click Toxic. That's all you do with Seismitoad, is you go in and you click Toxic. And then this is obviously banned, probably, so I just go in and he's not going to do anything. Rocky Helmet Chip does a lot. I can just click Earthquake and the Zygarde is going to die. Yep. I think he goes to Ralladon. No, he goes Hydreigon. I click Earthquake or Gravity just in case he nasty plots. I go Nidoking to get the chip. Because remember, if I get enough chip on the Hydreigon, the whatever. If I get enough chip on this, and I get enough chip on or not enough chip, but if I get rocks up, then I win, basically. If I get chip on this and rocks up, I win. Because of Mamoswine. And he doesn't kill, so he's obviously not specs, he's leftovers. So Nidoking is still very useful at this point. I get a nice little crit. I think I switch out to Rhydon, actually. So maybe I'm gonna get rocks up here. If I do, that's a good. Oh, Earthquake, I remember. Because Kieran's the big threat, remember. Kieran is the huge threat. So free damage, and that's nice. Obviously, I don't die here because Rhydon lives everything. Avalanche kills, and I'm in a really good position here. Because Duraludon was a good a good way to stop me from just clicking Ice Shard. I could still click Earthquake on it with Mamoswine, but I'm choice locked, obviously. So it's not free well, it wasn't free, but now it is almost pretty much free. He kills with Shadow Ball. I go probably Doug Trio. Well, let me guess here. I probably click Sucker Punch. I probably wasn't confident enough yet. Stone Edge, yep. So here's the thing. Stone Edge did 60%. It's like you're gonna miss. It's nothing good. I click Stone Edge again here, definitely. I just keep clicking it, and I think I actually run out of PP because he has pressure. Then I think I start clicking Earthquake, and he realizes that, like, I'm just gonna keep doing it. I was trying to fish for the crit a little bit, double crit, but it didn't end up happening. I did miss one, unfortunately. I know this doesn't really matter because I can go into frickin' Nidoking and then Mamoswine. Yep, I go into Mamoswine, probably click Earthquake, Superpower. You know, I'm not always in my head. And then from this point, obviously these two can't do anything. Mamoswine. I just go Seismitoad. It doesn't matter if he Dragon Dances because Mamoswine's a beast. Seismitoad is pretty physically defensive, and he's special anyways. So, yep, critical hit does not matter. I think I Scald. Yep. So again, I only need like 15% for it to kill Dragapult. Go back out into Mamoswine, I bet. Just click Ice Shard twice, and then if Dragalge still lives, which I think it does, I click Earth Power on it. Oh no, that's the end. So again, there's a lot of mistakes in there. If I could go redo that battle, I wouldn't because I won. But if I could redo the battle because I was ashamed of how I did, I wouldn't because I won. But if I wanted to like do better, I wouldn't because I won. Okay, for real though. Again, there's always room to improve. I made a ton of mistakes there. You can too. You can you make a lot of mistakes. Like the lead not clicking Earthquake on the Duraludon. Like what was I doing? What was I thinking? Well, of course you click Earthquake there. What's it gonna do to you? It's slower than you pretty much. He was running speed on the Duraludon, you know? They're always running like they're not running specs, they're running what? Like, again, I should have just clicked it. Or at least click Rocks, because I should have recognized how useful Rocks were in that scenario. Just basically killing Dragapult. Pretty much killing Dragalge. If the Kyurem wasn't Boots, which it wasn't, it was a big help. That could allow me to kill with Dugtrio with the Stone Edge crit. Again, a lot of mistakes. Still managed to pull it through because of the favorable matchup, I would say. So now, there's only one thing left to do. And I'm going to be honest, it's the scariest part. Oh, I'm gray? Why am I gray? Oh, there you go. It's the scariest part of this video. Of this potential video. And that's practical application. I need to turn this down because otherwise my eardrums are going to get blown out. I have to actually win some battles and show you that I'm not just a fake poser who recorded all my wins and then showed them to you to brag. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to tell you what, I pretty much am a fake poser who faked all his wins. I didn't fake them, but it took a lot of tries to get that good footage, you know what I mean? Also, I don't think anyone is on the ladder right now. So it's my time to strike. Oh, let's go! The electric matchup. So, here's a tip for me if you want to win. Always lead with the good luck, have fun. Some people always say, only say, have luck or have fun. This matchup, obviously, they're probably going to lead Rotom Wash because, obviously, it's the only water type. You always lead Seismitoad into Rotom Wash. Yep. And then they're probably going to click Toxic or switch out. Either way, Toxic is good for me. Note they click Will-O-Wisp. Still, oh. Fair and balanced, yeah. Both missed. Ooh, did he not realize I had Toxic? That's unfortunate. Still getting... This is good a Grass Knot, by the way. I might predict it and go Psychic, though. I kind of want to see what item it is. Plus, getting the poison damage is good. It might be Specs, but I think risking Nidoking is too much here. I think I'm just going to go Dugtrio and trap it. Because, again, Grass Knot on this is like a huge threat. Because this and then Tapu Koko are both going to have Grass Knot. Zeraora could technically have Grass Knot, but I don't think it usually runs it. So, obviously a very good lead up for me. For Rotom Wash, you can literally just always go Seismitoad. It can't do anything to you. And then you just click Toxic again, and they might even go Magnezone, but again, Magnezone can't do anything. You can just go pretty much anything. Landorus is good against like Zeraora. So I'm gonna go Nidoking actually. No, maybe not. Oh, he's on a balloon. I should have read that. I think I am gonna go Landorus since he's on a balloon. Actually, I'm gonna protect because why not? Oh, that's an annoying set. It's a really annoying set. Well, my Landorus should be fine against it then. Get a Gravity. This guy is scary because obviously my physical attacks are not going to do a jack to him. Just gonna Earthquake because it's still 4 times effective, and I think it pops the balloon maybe. Yeah, it's still 4 times effective, and it does pop the balloon. Again, Magnezone isn't really a threat even at max defense and on a balloon because it's 4 times weak to ground. Oh, he left. I always wonder if it's a disconnect because they are mad. They're like, oh my god, my set was like ruined, you know? I put so much effort into clicking Iron Defense 3 times. Or if it was just like, oh, my internet stopped working. Because that's happened to me before. Especially when I was like a turn away from losing. And you know, it's just like the internet just stops working. And it's like, oh, well, they're definitely going to think like I left because I was like furious. You know what I mean? But it looks like he's probably going to end up disconnecting. $14.32 against $15.05. Yep. Yes! Here. Let's do a... There you go. A Pogue. So a nice little easy win. I was only gonna do like, oh yeah, look how many battles are there, not very many. I was gonna do like 3 or so battles, I think. Because obviously the rest of the video is gonna be like so long. It's gonna be incredibly long. I usually watch videos on like 1.25 speed or even sometimes 2 times speed because I'm an impatient little gnat. And I can't handle not being entertained for 3 seconds, but I always like to keep the videos shorter. The first one was kind of like, I feel like that's kind of long. Who's gonna watch an hour of like, I'm not gonna watch an hour of like some guy I haven't ever seen before. You know what I mean? And it's like, ooh, oh, this is a bot. If I get it, I'll battle the bot once, but it's bot backwards. It's all backwards. But if I get the bot twice, I'll do an extra one for each bot we get. Again, there's not many people on, so I'll probably fight him maybe once or twice. Again, against the Garchomp, I really do not want to get rocks up because I want to keep my Doug trio for the Kyurem. So I'm gonna lead Mamoswine. Actually, he leads Hydreigon. Hydreigon, which is okay, I guess. Definitely want to keep this guy alive. I can just bring in Rhydon. It'll tell me if he's Specs or not. He brings in Kyurem. I can go hard into Doug Trio then. Because he's probably not Scarf. I mean, I know he's not Scarf because I battled him before and he hasn't changed his sets. But I can click Reversal here. That's a good showcase of what this Mon is meant to do. And then we can see if this Mon is Scarf. It is not, so he just dies. Again, it's a bot, so don't expect much. In this, you just go to Landorus because Garchomp can't really do anything to it. Even if it gets like a Toxic off, it's still not going to do like anything. It's not going to matter. I should stop skipping the turns. It's like a bad habit. But again, and I'm an impatient little gnat. So you definitely don't want this guy to like sub in the DD. So you just accept the death here. You can go into Nidoking. You can go into Rhydon because you're not going to die at anything. Just click Earthquake. Because that hits the other 2 and then hits this guy for enough chip. So he does nothing. Click Earthquake again. Click Earthquake again. Just keep mashing Earthquake. And then you can go into Doug Trio because he's slower. Click Earthquake. It'd be pretty easy. Oh, he misses. Nice. I still would have won anyways, but again, pretty easy victory. That was a robot, so I'm not really gonna count that. Okay, yeah. I just want to not record too many because then I'll have to cut some out and then it'll look like, oh my god, he's cutting out the ones that he lost. You know what I mean? Because like the state of Showdown on YouTube is not in a good place, I would say, because you basically got one type of content, and I guess I'm not really contributing well to that, and that's the kind of just like you watch them play, and then you got like the other like compilation kind of things, you know, where it's like, oh, the salty noob was destroyed or whatever. And they're not all clickbait like that, all the like compilations, but a lot of them are just kind of like, yeah, I get it. You set up Swords Dance or Belly Drum with a Slurp Puff, and then you swept. I get it. Yeah. I'd like to see some, like, interesting... Ice is a really bad matchup, by the way, and you'll see why. If you remember what I said earlier, you just lead Mamoswine into their Ninetales. They lead Cloyster. This is bad, bad, bad. Because if they Shell Smash, you just lose. They have Water Move, your Mamoswine dies, so you have to click Earthquake. Okay, have to. Yep, so they Shell Smash your Dunzo. You don't want the Mamoswine to die, though. Seismitoad should live 1, so I'm going to sack Landorus because dies. But, yeah, dies. Landorus just dies to everything. He loses the attack a little, so... It's Liquidation. Oh my gosh, Landorus lives. What a hero. Just click Earthquake. Cloyster's gonna die here probably along with me. Yes, not. Could go to Doug Trio and Shell Smash here, obviously, but that would be a bad move because he... Or Sucker Punch because he could Shell Smash again. Wait, did I type... Hold on. You always gotta remember that. I'm just gonna go... Plasmatoad's kind of useful here because both Freeze Dry. Those two are useful though, so I'm gonna go to you and just Ice Shard. Ice Shard should kill because he's -1 defense, and Water does not resist Ice, even though that seems like it would. Yep, Mamoswine with a band is very, very powerful. Oh look, he gave me good luck. Good luck. Normally they give you have fun, and then they're like, I hope you get bad luck. So far, we're not in a terrible position. This is bad. He's going to get up the Veil, obviously. Can't do anything about it. He's going to kill probably whatever we bring in next. So I'm just going to get in Rhydon and get up Rocks, actually. Okay, never mind. He's going to die to a Blizzard. So I'll get back in Mamoswine. And again, like I said before, just Earthquake. Earthquake, Earthquake, until you can't no more. The Thick Fat, it really helps you out here, plus the Ice typing. Yeah, it does nothing. This is about 50, 64 actually, quite a bit. So he's either going to die or let something else take the hit. Yep. Him dying is actually pretty okay, I think. Galarian Darmanitan, I'd say. Nope. He's probably going to Steel-type move me, huh? I think Seismitoad walls this guy, maybe? But he's too useful, I think. I think we're going Nidoking. Oh, it's a lot. So he's actually slower than me, and I think Flamethrower kills. Well, not if he switches out, obviously. Super high special defense. Regice is not good. I think the only way I can beat this guy is if I Toxic him or I get a bunch of damage that I really can't afford. Does this get Freeze Dry? I don't think it does. I think that's why it's in like PU. We're gonna Toxic. It hits pretty much everything. Okay, I'm not gonna hit Toxic. Does he have Protect? Hopefully he doesn't have Protect, and he's probably gonna switch out now. Go to Sand Slash. Oh, he doesn't Protect. Yeah. That's definitely not good. I definitely didn't want my Seismitoad to be toxic, but I definitely wanted the Regice to be toxic. Yeah, he goes on the Sandslash Alola. I need Doug Trio for the Darmanitan and Galar, and for the Mamoswine, and pretty much for everything. Burn. Very sneaky of you. Just get Toxic Hand. Never predict, never predict. Ice is a super hard matchup. But I'm not blaming it. I still think it's possible, but... Oh my god! No! Why? It's sad because I need Dugtrio for all three of these guys. He probably only has ice moves and toxic, so I could go here and click superpower. I need to kill this in one hit, so yeah. Otherwise, I'm gonna take too much damage back. I'm not gonna be able to tank an ice shard. So I need to take an ice shard from the Mamoswine if I want to live that. I think Nidoking is pretty much useless here because he kills the Sandslash, but he loses the Scarf Darmanitan, and then he loses to the Mamoswine. So I'm gonna sack him. Yep, he just starts Quakes. I think I am going to... Hopefully I'm faster and I can just superpower him, but with no debuff. And I think the plan from then is just if I kill this, obviously I can just die with this. No. So hopefully it's not Scarf, eh? Oh, he's not even banded either, so he's just gonna Ice Shard. I'm gonna die. Maybe. Nope, he's not gonna do that. Put a little. I'm not fond of putting the GGs though. You need to save the GGs for like this was peak gameplay. Yeah, he's definitely Scarf. Well. Oh no, so many points. That's what happens sometimes. Sometimes that's the way the cards fall. Sometimes you miss a couple toxics. But even then, I think even if I hit like the toxics, it still would have been kind of an uphill battle. Oh, perfect. I wanted to show this one at least once. What the flying type matchup looks like. Because he's got a Skarmory. And that is super duper. So I'm going to lead Rhydon because it leads well into everything, basically. The biggest threat here is actually Mantine. Because obviously water is scary. So this guy is bad. So I'm going to click Avalanche. Because he does not die, and then I kill this back. Because the rocks here aren't super important. Like, it'd be better if he had a Dragonite. I'm just going to click... Not that, because he's weakness policy for sure. That's why he went into this, knowing I had a super effective move. When he could have went into Mantine or Skarmory. He's probably got agility. Is that what we agree on? Or Nasty Plot, obviously. Mamoswine actually kills this in one hit, though. But I want to save that just in case he's a weird defensive set. I'm just going to go Nidoking. Because I don't... Oh, we fire your ass. This should be fine, though. Just Ice Beam, yep. This guy's real scary. I definitely... I'm going to go Rhydon, maybe sack it. Depends on what he clicks. Because you could click Toxic Predicting. I doubt that. Probably Scald or... Yeah, double. I am going to click Stealth Rock. Just die there. Mamoswine actually kills this in one hit because it is not bulky at all. Yep. That's why Ice Shard is so powerful. I think it also kills Moltres Galar, but I wanted to be safe because getting rid of that Thundurus is super important. I did not want to have Grass Knots just launched on me all day when my Nidoking's at 50%. So he's into Skarmory. I go Landorus here. I could also go Nidoking, but I think Landorus is better because I can get off the gravity. He's either gonna Whirlwind or another Spike. Yep. Just click Earthquake. The spikes don't really matter because I'm pretty close to winning. So he'd need to like stall for a long time in order to get away with that. I think what I do is I go Seismitoad here. Because he doesn't know I don't have a ground move. And then I just Toxic. And then he might go Skarmory. In that case, it doesn't really matter. Yep, I get the Toxify on the Mantine. That's really, really good. I'm going to substitute? No. Maybe yes. Yes. Dugtrio is a lot less useful here because obviously the spikes are going to like kill him. Then again, the Seismitoad isn't super useful either. I'm just going to keep protecting because he probably has Water Absorb. I doubt he has Water Veil. Maybe. Maybe. No, he definitely doesn't. I don't even know what Water Veil does. You might Whirlwind and he might set up a Spike, then a Stealth Rock, then Whirlwind, and I don't really want that to happen. So he's scared of Landorus now, or this guy. So I'm gonna go into Nidoking. If he sets up a Spike, I'm going to click... I can click Flamethrower pretty freely now. Because his Mantine is Toxic. And pretty much on a timer. I think I go Seismitoad because it's going to die to the spikes. And then I go... he Scalds. I think I go... Landorus? No. Dugtrio. I'm faster than this? Then I go this and I Icicle Crash. Because he's low enough where I think it kills, yeah. 2 Icicle Crashes should do a... Wait, oh, that's a roll. That's a roll. I can get that. Yeah, I can get that. Oh, bro. I can get the flinch, though. Because I'm faster. This is a losing game for him. Oh, that was a roll. I could have got 51 there. What the frick? He doesn't have pressure, though, so this is less risky for me. I am going to get the flinch eventually. I get 1 flinch and I win. It's a 30% chance. Same as Ironhead. Oh, or I get the crit. Fair enough. And I think I'll win at this point because Mantine... frick, why are you going out this guy? I don't know why he's going to this guy. I'm gonna go to Dugtrio. And then I'm gonna Stone Edge. No, I'm gonna Stone Edge. I think I'm gonna Stone Edge because I don't care. And then go out to Landorus if this dies. Yep, and if it doesn't die, I can keep clicking Stone Edges and then bring Mamoswine back in. Yep. Just bring this back in. Like Ice Shard. Nothing really wants to take this, even a Mantine. Oh, it's not weakness policy, by the way. It's leftovers. Maybe that's more a random battle thing. I just go... Yeah, I go Landorus again. Because I don't die to spikes with my other guy. He's probably gonna... Oh, I thought he was gonna Scald, to be honest. I'm gonna substitute, actually. Oh, man. I'm gonna Gravity. Gonna Bulk Up. This is what Bulk Up is useful for fighting other Landoruses. Actually, though. No. Crit. Crit. I still live that, though. I think I could lose this. That'd be a little bit bad. I should have let the guy die and then earth powered with Nidoking. I think I could still win this though. I just go into this and I spam Ice Shard. Yep, okay, I win. So I can Thunderbolt whenever I want, unless he has Substitute or something weird. But I still think I win. Yeah, because I do 43 hikes. That's such a big amount of damage. It's a bit of a close one. But I pulled it out in the end. Flying isn't, like I said, flying isn't actually that bad of a matchup against ground. Because all the tools ground has to deal with it, like Gravity, Nidoking with Scarf, especially Mamoswine. And I think that'll be it. Thank you for watching, I guess. I mean, this is like the first time. I feel like I shouldn't thank people. I should be like, yeah, that frick you, man. Yeah, why do you watch this? Okay, that's all. I'll put a funny image in, maybe. Okay, bye.